Good evening. This is All India Radio, Kohima. I'm Katholina with the evening news. The headlines: Nagaland Government appeals to Naga Students Federation and all citizens for smooth conduct of Nagaland Staff Selection Board interview. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh says Northeast region is a model of Vikas for the rest of the country. Union Minister Bhupender Yadav says protecting and restoring ecosystems can help to reduce extent of climate change, and Union Government to prepare standard operating procedure for safety and security of journalists. Now the news in detail. Nagaland Government has appealed to the Naga Students Federation NSF and all citizens for the smooth conduct of Nagaland Staff Selection Board NSSB interview scheduled on April 18, clarifying on the NSF representation submitted to the Chief Secretary for reducing personal interview marks from 12.5% to 5%. Personal and Administrative Reforms (P&AR) said the current recruitment process was started with existing regulations. It should be allowed to go on without any change. The department in a press release said government has made it clear that it is open to the idea of reviewing the NSSB regulations before advertising the next cycle of recruitment. It said government framed the NSSB regulations taking into account the practices of other recruitment boards and agencies in states across India. P&AR said under the existing regulation, interview marks granted cannot be less than 40% and cannot be more than 80% of the total mark allotted for interview. As such, the department said only 5% out of 12.5% is left for the board in order to assess and award the marks for personal interview. It further cited case where the Supreme Court directed for 12.5% of the total marks for the viva voce for the recruitment process under Haryana Staff Selection Commission. P&AR also appealed, appreciating the inevitable need to continue the current recruitment process without any hindrance in the interest of the future of meritorious youth. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh said before 2014, Northeast used to show up with the news for all wrong reasons, mainly encounters, dharnas, road blockades, poor rail and road connectivity and violence. But all that have dramatically changed. Dr. Singh said this while speaking as chief guest at Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat celebrations. He said in the last 9 years, Prime Minister Modi has visited Northeast over 60 times, which may be more than the total number of visits made by all previous Prime Ministers put together. He added that earlier governments took Northeast for granted, but today the region is a model of Vikas for the rest of the country. The minister added that Prime Minister Modi has won the trust of the people of Northeast by ensuring all-round development in the region. He said, now the youth of Northeast are in high demand throughout the country for their skill and are excelling in different fields. The Union Minister further added that business houses are looking up to Northeast as an attractive destination for investment. Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change and Labour and Employment Bhupender Yadav said, protecting and restoring ecosystems can help us reduce the extent of climate change and cope with its impacts. Speaking at the plenary session at the G7 Ministers' meeting on climate, energy and environment at Sapporo in Japan, he said, it is important to address issues related to climate change in tandem with environmental action holistically. Yadav said India, in its presidency of G20, for example, has taken this approach and embedded mitigation and adaptation deeply across priority areas of arresting land degradation, accelerating ecosystem restoration, and enriching biodiversity. The Union Minister said India has also focused on action by all, including individual and community actions through Mission Life. The minister said, we look forward to the leadership of G7 nations to ensure an effective fight against the challenges of climate change. Union government has decided to prepare a standard operating procedure for the safety and security of journalists. Sources said that the Ministry of Home Affairs will prepare these SOPs under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the guidance of Union Home Minister Amit Shah. The decision has been taken after 3 assailants posing as journalists killed gangster-turned-politician Atiq Ahmed and his brother Ashraf in Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh last night while they were speaking to journalists. This news comes to you from All India Radio, Kohima. You can also listen to this news bulletin on News on Air app and YouTube channel AIR News Kohima. In a special series, All India Radio brings you excerpts from the Prime Minister's Man Ki Baat.
This is how our Prime Minister connects with millions of countrymen with the program Man Ki Baat, aired on the last Sunday of every month on All India Radio. This series, which started on October 3rd, 2014, will complete its 100th episode in April 2023. Let us recollect the words of the Prime Minister in this episode, where he spoke about India reaching out to the world with a helping hand during the COVID pandemic. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which gives the concept of one earth, one family and one future, is the mantra of India's civilization. It was amply reflected during the corona pandemic. With this attitude and spirit, India reached out to several countries across the world and rushed supplies of medicines and vaccines to them. In the Man Ki Baat program broadcast on 26th April 2020, the Prime Minister spoke about the steps that India undertook for the sake of humanity at large.
संकट की इस घड़ी में दुनिया के लिए भी, समृद्ध देशों के लिए भी दवाइयों का संकट बहुत ज्यादा रहा है। एक ऐसा समय है कि अगर भारत दुनिया को दवाइयां न भी दे तो कोई भारत को दोषी नहीं मानता। हर देश समझ रहा है कि भारत के लिए भी उसकी प्राथमिकता अपने नागरिकों का जीवन बचाना है। लेकिन साथियों, भारत ने प्रकृति विकृति की सोच से परे होकर फैसला लिया। भारत ने अपनी संस्कृति के अनुरूप फैसला लिया। हमने भारत की आवश्यकताओं के लिए जो करना था उसका प्रयास तो बढ़ाया ही, लेकिन दुनिया भर से आ रही मानवता की रक्षा की पुकार पर भी पूरा ध्यान दिया।
The special Man Ki Baat series can be heard every day in the morning and evening bulletins. Union Minister for Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal said that the Indian real estate sector has been a critical engine of the country's growth story, providing large-scale employment. He said the sector has shown immense resilience in last few years with active support of the government. Goyal said this while addressing the national investiture ceremony of the Confederation of Real Estate Developers Associations of India through video conferencing in Mumbai yesterday. Minister added that the real estate sector will provide huge business opportunities, generate employment, and provide big avenues for the startup ecosystem. Goyal said India is poised to become the third largest construction market in the next 2 to 3 years. He remarked that the union budget also focused significantly on infrastructure with nearly 10 lakh crore rupees direct investment of the central government. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said India and the US are together building a foundation for a strong, peaceful and harmonious global community. Addressing a gathering of Indian Americans at the India House, Washington, D.C., the minister wished that India-US relationship grows from strength to strength. On the occasion, U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo recounted her recent meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, calling him the most popular leader of the world. Raimondo said the level of commitment to the people of India Modi has is indescribable, deep, passionate, real and authentic. Recalling her conversation with Prime Minister Modi, she told him that India and the US need to lead the technology ecosystem consistent with our democratic values. And President Drupadi Murmu will inaugurate the National Panchayat Awards Week and confer National Panchayat Awards at National Conference on Incentivization of Panchayats Cum Awards ceremony in New Delhi tomorrow. The President will also address over 1,500 delegates from across the country. Ministry of Panchayati Raj will be celebrating National Panchayat Awards Week commencing tomorrow to 21st of this month as part of Azadi Ki Amrit Mahotsav 2.0 in the run-up to National Panchayati Raj Day scheduled on 24th April. The ministry has conceptualized the series of thematic conferences based on the theme of Panchayaton ke Sankalpon ki Siddhi ke Utsav to celebrate this monumental occasion. To end the news, a repeat of the headlines. Nagaland Government appeals to Naga Students Federation and all citizens for smooth conduct of Nagaland Staff Selection Board interview. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh says Northeast region is a model of Vikas for the rest of the country. Union Minister Bhupender Yadav says protecting and restoring ecosystems can help to reduce extent of climate change, and Union Government to prepare standard operating procedure for safety and security of journalists. That's all we have in this evening news bulletin. Good night.